Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, the Defense Department and the University of the Philippines meet to discuss the termination of the deal that bans the military and law enforcement officers from entering UP campuses without prior advice. Lieutenant General Antonio Parlade is again under fire, this time for suggesting that one journalist is helping terrorists. And China maintains there's no need to worry about its new law authorizing its Coast Guard to fire at foreign vessels. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana joins us live. Key officials of the University of the Philippines and the Defense Department met on Thursday to discuss issues surrounding the controversial termination of the UP-DND Accord. The Commission on Higher Education facilitated the meeting. In January, the DND moved to end its 3-decade-long pact with UP, which prevents the unauthorized entry of security forces into its campuses. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Secretary Lorenzana, welcome to the source. Good to have you again, sir.
Good morning, Pinky.
Okay,
Thank you for having me.
It's good. So many things to talk about. I'm going to start with the UP-DND Accord. Secretary, you met with UP President Danilo Concepcion last Thursday regarding this accord. Wanted to find out more about the meeting. Was it a cordial one? Was this the first time you guys met each other?
Yeah, it was a very cordial meeting, Pinky. I'm very glad that we finally met. And we agreed in that meeting, after he spoke his line, the stand of the UP administration and the UP community. Ako naman, sinabi ko rin yung stand natin. And we agreed after that to continue talking. And we agreed to form a panel from both sides to talk on how to move forward in ensuring the protection of our students in the UP campus.
Who's going to comprise the panel on each side?
I have directed one of my legal officer to be our representative. Plus, maybe he will get some more, or one or two more. And maybe one of these days, they are going to meet and discuss things, how to move forward.
But there's no set date yet, Secretary?
No, what? Set date? Wala pa. Pag-usapan pa.
Okay. What was resolved? What were siguro the most contentious issues? I mean, if we really look into this, hindi ho ba, Secretary, it's academic freedom. Sinasabi po ng UP. Sinasabi naman po ng gobyerno, we need to protect the youth. Was anything resolved, at least on those two issues?
Yeah, their definition kasi ng press, yung academic freedom includes, we know the definition already as defined by the Supreme Court, meaning that the UP can teach any subject it wants, the place to teach it, the teachers who will teach the subject, plus the students who will take the subject. Now, ang gusto nilang mangyari is the atmosphere of freedom of academic freedom na walang takot. Yun ang ini-insist ni President Concepcion, na without the guarantee na hindi sila guguluhin daw, ay there is no academic freedom. I beg to disagree on that, because if that were so, then the other colleges and universities do not have academic freedom.
Okay, so right now it's still obviously terminated. Ano po, Secretary, the UP-DND Accord?
Yes, it's still terminated. And so that's the reason of the reason why you are going to talk again and find ways how to move forward.
Anything that siguro enlightened you, Secretary, doon kay President Concepcion, and anything na you needed to enlighten Danilo Concepcion, sir?
Yeah, one of the arguments that we have been presenting is the law enforcement agencies, unfortunately, wala na sa akin yung law enforcement, it's already with the ILG, can have unimpeded access to enforce the laws inside the campus. Now, that's why I told him to also talk to the ILG because the police force is now under the ILG. Now, this the main reason why I terminated the accord is because I believe it is already an obsolete, dated accord. It's already
Years.
32 years because 1989 yun eh. So, and the atmosphere then and now are very different. There was this prevailing distrust or mistrust to the law enforcement agencies by that time. And so I think the Secretary of Defense then, General Ramos, had this agreement with the President of UP. But now that's no longer the case. It's no longer the case. We are enjoying the military, the defense and the military, enjoying unprecedented approval rating from the people. And I think it's changed already. So let us move on and go back to normal without this agreement so that we can proceed with our daily lives. And we assure them that we respect the academic freedom, we respect the rights of people to protest, to demonstrate, or to express dissent against the government. We will protect them doing that.
But weren't you open, Secretary, to keeping the UPD in the accord, just looking at it now, and possibly strengthening? For example, there is a joint monitoring system. Couldn't have it been kept? And then pinalakas na lang po yung monitoring, both from the government side and the UP side.
Alam mo, Pinky, when the DILG was organized or was enacted, the law, the PNP law was enacted in 1992, I told Danny Concepcion that they should have revisited the agreement immediately because it has effectively removed the law enforcement function from the DND to the ILG. And even if I stop the termination now, I think it doesn't mean anything because we don't have any enforcement people going into UP. The policemen are the ones doing that.
Are you, after that talk, Secretary, even open to rethinking your decision to terminate the accord?
Yeah, I told Danny Concepcion that I will think about it. But now that we have this panel who will talk and find ways to move forward, let us not preempt the recommendation. We will wait for the recommendation later on, and we will move from there.
But you're open to rethinking it, just to be clear on that, sir.
Yes, I'm open to rethinking that.
And any collaboration that was discussed during the meeting, any form of agreement pending or that will happen while the two panels will meet again, the representatives of both panels?
There were no agreement, Pinky, except that there were proposals on how to improve the relationship, like exchange of students, professors, visitation by military students to UP and vice versa, just to make them closer to each other, para mawala yung distrust. No? But there was no agreement to do that, just a proposal.
So let's move on to the next subject. This could also be an issue on trust, mistrust, or distrust, Secretary. General Parlade, again, making headlines last week because when he said that a case could be filed against the Inquirer reporter Tech Torres Tupas regarding her story with the headline, "Tortured, ITAs seek help against the anti-terror law," to which General Parlade had a Facebook posting, "Government, this is fake news, propagandista, no such thing happened. That unit is not even there but in Davao, aiding the terrorists by spreading lies, pwede. First, sir, what do you think of that statement of General Parlade?
Yeah, I talked to John Parlade last week, through text and through telephone, and he is very sure, according to him, that he has evidence to prove this allegation that that the report on the ETA torture is not true, is incorrect. Now, ang hinihingi lang naman niya, the journalist has published the side of the ETAs, and so she should also publish yung side ng military kung ano yung explanation nila. And then maybe because an investigation has been done, and according to General Parlade, hindi talaga nangyari yung torture na yon. I think they have depositions from the community to prove that it did not happen.
Yeah.
So, ang request lang niya is for the journalist also to publish the other side, hindi lang yung one side lang. And I think today meron na namang lumabas na sa news item ng Inquirer about the ETA torture. So, yun, I understand where General Parlade is coming from. He has been fighting the insurgency for all of his life as a military man. And every one of us here in the Defense Department, the AFP, and even the PNP and the DILG wants to stop this insurgency once and for all. And that's why we are doing all we can to stop the recruitment of students, stop the recruitment of the natives, the Lumads, or the IPs, because that's now the target of the NPA. One time, Pinky, our troops encountered a group of NPA in Abra. And 4 of the captured or surrendered ones are kids, not more than 18 years old, and they are from Davao Oriental. So the recruitment goes on under our noses, and that's why we are intensifying our operations, the development operations. That's why General Esperon started this barangay development fund that has been questioned in the Congress for some time last week.
Right.
Tawag nila LCAC fund, but it's not. It's barangay development fund, so that we can bring development to all these barangays that have been under the influence of the NPA that we were able to clear. Kasi kung hindi natin madalhan ng development, hindi sila maniniwala sa atin.
I understand that was also quite controversial, the budget for the barangay development doon po sa NDF LCAC. But here's the thing, Secretary. Was it necessary for General Parlade? Nandun na po tayo na you're stopping fighting insurgency, but was it necessary to use the words, number 1, propagandist? Tapos yung susunod po na phrase, words aiding terrorists by spreading lies, especially now that we have the anti-terrorism law. Such aiding terrorists is punishable by 12 years to life imprisonment, and that's coming from the spokesperson of the NTF-LCAC. Tama ho ba yun?
Maybe he overstepped his, I don't know, what he was doing. But I'm going to let the new chief of staff deal with him. Sila muna mag-usap how to address this concern from the journalist and from the media about these accusations by General Parlade.
We need to take a very short break. Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, The Source will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Secretary Lorenzana still on General Parlade. After that statement was made, Senator Ping Lacson was asked to react to the Facebook post of General Parlade. Ang sabi po niya, there are basic freedoms that remain to be protected and upheld under RA 11479. Foremost is the freedom of speech or expression. Sabi niya po, assuming, and I quote, that such comments was accurately attributed to him, surely does not help the government to convince the magistrates of the Supreme Court to rule in his favor. In other words, Secretary, I guess such remarks raise more concern, fear, on the anti-terrorism law? Because again, yung pong kasing aiding terrorists, may kulong po yun na 12 years to life imprisonment eh.
Yeah, Pinky, this is a very thin line between freedom of speech and doing the other way, like aiding the other side or the terrorist. Maybe what I would suggest to the media is to also seek the statement or the side of the military, especially General Parlade. Ano ba ito? Not only to publish the side of the ATAS, the alleged torture of the ATAS. Tanungin din nila si General Parlade kung ano ba talaga nangyari. Because according to General Parlade, it did not happen. So what did he think nung ini-insist ng media na yan na tinorture talaga? So in a way, very thin line yung freedom of expression and aiding the terrorist.
Yeah.
So maybe let us also look at that dahil kawawa naman si General Parlade na ina-accuse siya ng ganon when in fact that what he's saying is could be right.
Opo.
Siguro pag-aralan naman natin, we'll talk to him closely, and that's why I'm going to I have directed the Chief of Staff to talk to him again about this, so that we may be able to prevent this from happening in the future.
Yeah, I think that's what's important. But let me just jump into what you said, Secretary. I hope you don't mind. No? Sabi mo nga, kailangan kunin yung side ni General Parlade. Kawawa naman si General Parlade. But paano po yung journalist? Hindi ho ba kawawa din siya?
Yeah, I understand the feeling of the journalist kasi she felt threatened. Her life may be endangered. And so I think these two sides should meet personally and discuss these things. Nothing could not be resolved by talking to each other para ma-resolve nila yung mga issues. And maybe they will find out that both of them are correct and they should have just considered the position of the other side before talking.
Okay. Meron ho kasing also manifestation, Secretary Delfin, coming from former Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio and Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales. They want the Supreme Court to have government actually explain this post of General Parlade attacking the journalist. Let me quote what is part of this manifestation, sir. Such direct threats endanger fear that chills journalists or even citizens from exercising their rights to freedom of expression and freedom of the press. So, sabi mo ilang beses ho kayo nag-usap, ano po? In the past, sinabihan niyo na hindi ho ba si General Parlade na kailangan may ebidensya, kailangan mag-ingat sa pananalita. This time around, did you have to repeat what you said?
Yeah, I talked to him and I texted him, and sabi niya, sir, I have proofs. Hindi na ako magsasalita kung wala akong prueba.
Opo.
And we are going to show this during the hearing at the Supreme Court to answer the allegations of former Justice Supreme Court Justice Carpio and Ombudsman Carpio Morales. So I hope he makes his promise good na pupunta siya doon para sagutin yung mga accusations. And I also understand where Justice Carpio is coming from to protect the freedom of speech or expression by people. And I also believe in General Parlade that to him, he's just trying to protect also the ATAS from being exploited by the other side.
But again, we need to underscore, Sir Sec. Delfin, of course, that this was a petition filed before the Supreme Court last Tuesday during the oral arguments, to which I remember Associate Justice Marvic Leonin was saying, aren't we supposed to wait for a test case? At ito na nga po yung test case dahil sila yung first to be charged under the anti-terror law. So it was a petition that the journalist cited in that report, Sec. Delfin. So, meron pong sinabi si Senator Pangilinan. Ang sabi po niya, I think this was a tweet, sir. Enough of this unprofessionalism and lack of discipline. Like AFP Intel Chief Lorenzana should show Parlade the door?
At only the president can remove an officer from post, Karen, ano? Pinky. I'm sorry.
Okay lang, sir.
Only the president can remove that, can do that. What we're going to do now is keep talking to General Parlade, and he said that he's going to rebut the accusations of Supreme Court Justice Carpio and Ombudsman Carpio Morales this week during the hearing there. And I also read about Justice Marvick Lunen's statement that you have to prove one case that the anti-terror law has targeted on a person suppressing the freedom of expression. So, tingnan natin kung ano mangyari ngayong linggo na to.
Okay. I need to shift topics already, but one last question on this, Secretary. Is disciplinary action necessary kay General Parlade because of this? And siguro, sir, the past, yung pag-red tag niya kay Angel Locsin, doon sa kapatid, doon nga po sinabi niyo na you have to be selective, we should have evidence, otherwise keep quiet, sabi niyo po.
Yeah. We will investigate Pinky, and find out if he deserves to be punished. Disciplinary action will be imposed upon him. We'll direct the AFP to do some investigation and inquiry to prove to find out if he really made some mistake there.
We need to talk about the new Chinese Coast Guard law, but we need to take a very short break. The Source will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Secretary, this new Chinese Coast Guard law, I wanted to get your view on this because, of course, a diplomatic protest has been filed by Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin saying it could be a verbal threat of war. Si Senator Richard Gordon was saying it's a creeping threat that can escalate anytime. Are you at all concerned about this new law? Secretary Delfin, I think you are muted.
I'm very concerned. Yeah, I'm very concerned, Pinky, about this law, because it might cause miscalculations and accidents there, especially that they are not allowed to fire at foreign vessels. Now, they are operating. The Coast Guard of the Chinese are patrolling a disputed area, the same as our Coast Guards and our Navy ships. So the chances of accident and miscalculation is great. And so I call upon all claimants there, Chinese, Vietnamese, to exercise caution and carefulness in implementing their laws, because the areas that they are operating, as I said a while ago, is the West Philippine Sea, and it is within our EEZ that was given to us, UNCLOS, and ratified by the Chinese. So we are very concerned, Karen, Pinky, sorry, Pinky,
Okay, so you're concerned. So here's a question, sir. There's a concern from you, the SFA, some senators as well. What can we do? For example, sir, panahon na ho ba para magkaroon ng joint naval patrols, for example, possibly with the United States? What is the next step aside from this diplomatic protest?
We will talk with our allies, Pinky, kung ano ang dapat gawin. But the Americans, even without consulting with us or the other claimants, continue on patrolling the area. And I am sure that the Chinese also are concerned about these patrols, in like manner that the Americans are very concerned about the creeping influence of the Chinese in the West Philippine Sea. And there are several countries who have indicated their willingness to patrol the area, like the British, the New Zealand, Australia, and even India. we are going to continue dialoguing with these countries and to find ways on how to move forward. And as I said, mahirap na magkaroon ng aksidente dyan.
Opo.
It might cause open conflict.
Mabilis lang po, Secretary Delfin, dahil meron po mga, of course, mangingisda that still want to go to Scarborough Shoal. Ano po? One claims that pinaalis po sila, kahit na po sinabi nilang uwi na lang sila sa susunod na araw. I saw a report on that, I believe, sa TV5. Meron ding mga fishermen, ayaw na pong pumunta doon dahil daw dito sa bagong batas na to. What do you tell them? What can you tell our Filipino fishermen?
The law does not concern them because foreign vessels, I understand, will be armed vessel by other countries. Fishermen are not armed, and I advise them to continue fishing in their traditional fishing ground like Scarborough Shoal, Reed Bank, and even Mischief Reef, because those are the traditional fishing ground of Filipinos, Pinky.
Okay.
So, ituloy lang nila yan, ituloy lang nila. And we will ensure that we have sufficient patrols of our Coast Guards and our Navy ships to protect them.
Secretary, one more thing, yung UE helicopters po, grounded due to the recent accidents involving them. Sir, meron na ho bang investigation, conclusion dun sa investigation, dun sa nag-down na Huey in Bukidnon that killed 7 soldiers? And just to follow up, sir, because I'm running out of time, paano po, dahil grounded sila, hindi ho ba ginagamit itong mga Huey na to to transport relief goods and to respond during disasters and emergencies?
Yes, Pinky, they are grounded for inspection to find out if they are still flyable and full operational capability. Now, before the crash, we had a total of 54 helicopters in different configurations. Then, and 34 of them are flyable or operational. Now, after the crash, and the Hueys and some of the aircraft were grounded for inspection, ang natitira na lang sa atin ay 40 at 25 are partially operational and 15 full operational. So that is the status of our helicopter capability now. And grounding means to subject them into inspection, repairs if necessary, so that they can fly again. There are 12 Hueys, UH-1H grounded and 4 UH-1D. So what were left with us are the Black Hawks.
Opo.
6 of the 16 Black Hawks that were delivered.
Yeah.
And Bell 412s, the Bell 205, the Super Huey. We have a Super Huey. They are not grounded. They're still flying.
All right.
So, yun ang status ngayon. And they are still investigating the crash. And hopefully, we can resolve what happened. And we can have the other Hueys fly again.
All right. We've run out of time, unfortunately. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, sir, maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Maraming salamat din, Pinky, for having me.
Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.